happening, people? It's your girl Minna. Welcome back to the channel. You already know what it is. Big up to everyone locked in, man. Friday vibes. It's not really vibes, to be honest. It's more like Friday therapy. I said it in the title of the video because that's what I feel like a lot of us need right now after yesterday's result. I say this all the time, man. The day after a loss is so difficult because when the dust settles and the emotion is kind of gone and you get to look at the game, I guess from a more analytical perspective, you notice a lot more. Big up to everyone locked in. Be sure to hit the like button. Be sure to subscribe if you are new here. Let me know what you lot are up to today. Excuse me, over the weekend. The football is footballing. The football is footballing because Manchester United are back in action on Monday after just playing on Thursday. And then again next weekend. The football don't stop, which means potentially the suffering ain't going to stop. And this therapy thing might have to become a more regular occurrence. Big up to everyone locked in. Be sure to hit the like button. Be sure to subscribe if you are new here. If you want to join the membership club, you can. It's the pinned comment in the chat. You get your badges, you get your emojis, you get your custom member content, and of course you get to support the growth of the channel, the ever-growing channel. The road to 9K is not that far away. If you want to support the channel in alternative ways, you can. You can send in super chats with your comments, with your questions, with your thoughts, or just to show some love. Get involved in the comment section, guys. I want to hear what everyone has to say. Imran says, hand on heart, Minna, are we getting relegated this season? No, I don't think United is going to get relegated. Although this would be a funny clip to come back to 6 months from now if United did get relegated. But I don't see it happening personally. I think Man United will pick up some form in the last stages of the season. But one thing I can say for sure, guys, these players are poor. Like, the ceiling at Manchester United in terms of ability in some of these players, the ceiling is, it's got asbestos in it. It's a very bad ceiling. It's a very bad ceiling. Most of these players, I'm looking at them and you know what? Some of them are good squad players, but they're not starters. When I look at other teams and I look at what they have to offer, I mean, Wolves are a team that had been struggling for the latter state. For most parts of the season, they were struggling under Gary O'Neill. But I never ever did think that Wolves was a bad team. I just thought that the manager was struggling to get something out of the players. People are saying new manager bounce, la. But let's be honest, Wolves have a good crop of players. They've had a good crop of players that are capable. One thing I think in the Premier League that we kind of overlook a lot in terms of the Manchester United squad right now is physicality. United is the most flimsiest team I've probably seen in the Premier League for a long time. For a long time. They are the weakest team in terms of physicality, in terms of how tenacious they can be in possession. They are so weak. They are so weak. I swear, if it was windy yesterday, they would have been getting blown around left to right. These players are weak. We talk about mentality a lot, but in terms of physicality, Man United cannot compete with other teams when it comes to the physical aspect of the game. They can't do it. And it's unfortunate to watch. It is very unfortunate to watch. People are talking about open heart surgery, referencing Ralph Rangnick. My friends, we have done open heart surgery. It's just a very poor one. Now Manchester United have to rebuild the rebuild because it's just a bunch of players that are poor. And I see a lot of players getting singled out. I see specific players getting singled out by by fans, by journalists, etc. But let's be totally honest. Of the last 3 transfer windows, there's probably not 3 players that I can say are starter quality for Manchester United right now. I can't say that. I really can't say that. Manchester United have overspent so much in these windows. You know, I'm not going to single players out, but I'm going to mention particularly the attacking line that Manchester United invested in is the worst attacking line that possibly exists in the Premier League. And it's an attacking line worth £250 million. You got Anthony, you got Rasmus Højlund, you got Mason Mount. I'm going to put Jadon Sancho in there because although United didn't buy him in the last couple of years, that's another player that we've spent so much money on that United failed to get anything out of. Manchester United right now, the crop of players that are in the squad, let's take Sancho out of it. Mason Mount, Anthony, Højlund. These are players that have cost us over 200 million. Over 200 million. And none of them are starter quality. None of them are, for me, players that should be starting for United. Are they squad players? Maybe. Maybe. Let me see what you lot are saying in the chat. Robert says, have we considered some of these players sabotage progress, knowing getting rid of them will be harder? I don't think it's self-sabotage. I just think they're crap. Minna, before we talk about rebuild, Amorim needs to do better with these players. We need to start winning or hard questions will be asked. I've seen a lot of people alluding to this. But I remember after the Everton game, United won 4-0, by the way, that game. And I think that's actually the last time United have had a clean sheet in all competitions. Ruben Amorim said after a 4-0 win that the storm was coming. I think he knew what was to come. And you know what? Ruben Amorim references it a lot. I think he knows these players are not up to par, because he talks about needing time with them in training. And I say this all the time, by the way, guys. I say that the reason why training is important because repetition is important. Repetition is important for a system. In order for you to kind of get to grips with a system, you need to be practicing it. You need to be practicing it in real time. You need time on the training field. And Amorim references that a lot, saying that they ain't got time on the training field. As a result, he can't really play people consistently because after a game, some players need to rest. They might not be able to train, so they might not be available the next game. I don't know how you lot feel about the results so far, but let me know your thoughts. Erik Ten Hag did the open heart surgery, but it relapsed. Fans should take responsibility as well. Letters to the owner and pressure to keep Erik Ten Hag after the final. We make the players anxious by moaning when we play at home as well. Let me ask you a lot of question, yeah? Because people reference this letter a lot, right? The letter that some mystery fan wrote that people signed or whatever. If that is enough to sway the opinion of the football minds, then Manchester United have poor structure in place. They got poor. If they can solely base their reasoning to keep in Erik Ten Hag is because the fans wrote a letter, that's a joke. That's a joke. And I know a lot of people like to emphasize this letter that was written, but we're giving a free pass for Ineos for the decisions that they've made that have set United back about 2-3 seasons. The decisions that Ineos made in the summer set United back. Not only did they choose to keep Erik Ten Hag for whatever reason it might have been, yeah, they gave him a new contract and they gave him another 200 million to spend in the window. That is poor. That's poor decision making. I'm sorry. If you want to be Ineos are happy to be known as ruthless when it comes to cutting costs, when it comes to redundancies, when it comes to making cuts in the business. They're happy to be ruthless, but they couldn't be ruthless enough to get rid of Erik Ten Hag. And I know that the situation, I think maybe with the manager that they wanted was different, because I know that they wanted Amorim in the summer, but the situation was different. But for me, you just set United back a couple of seasons by wasting 3 months of the season. But as well as that, you gave a manager a new contract. So financially, you've caused a hindrance because the topic of January transfer window is money. Everyone's talking about the money that United don't have to spend, the money that Ineos are not going to inject into the club, the money that Manchester United do not have as leverage, because I know it's only 14 million that they paid Erik Ten Hag to leave, but they also had to pay a release clause for Ruben Amorim, getting rid of Dan Ashworth. All of this adds up. So, I don't know, man. Big up to MUFC, been a member for 13 months. Big up, man. Says, you got upset when I predicted 6th to 8th and you were saying top 4 is the minimum a few months ago. Enjoy 14th, auntie. Listen, hindsight is real, guys. Hindsight is real because let's be honest, yeah? Coming into the season, none of you lot can tell me, maybe MUFC can, but none of you lot can tell me that you didn't feel slightly optimistic coming into the season. Hindsight is a thing. Back in August, I didn't anticipate that by December, United would have lost 4 and 5, would have a new manager. Marcus Rashford would be exiled from the team. Tyrell Malacia nowhere to be seen. I knew Mason Mount would probably be injured again, so that we probably knew. But I don't think anyone saw this on the horizon within a couple of months of the season starting. I'm no psychic, so I'm not going to be like, oh my God, I knew this was going to happen. I didn't. I am a fan. I was optimistic for the season starting. I felt like Manchester United were turning a corner in terms of being able to start over again in the summer. But life humbles you guys. Life humbles you. Next 3 games are techie. Listen, we need to think about it one game at a time. I'm seeing people, we're playing Newcastle, Liverpool, and Arsenal in the FA Cup, right? Forget Anfield for a second. Anfield is a completely different conversation, yeah? Newcastle is going to be a big problem. Newcastle have last 3 Premier League games, I think they've scored 11 goals. They haven't conceded any goals. Isaac is in form. Who else? No Ugarte, no Bruno, Joel Linton, Tonali, Bruno Guimaraes, Anthony Gordon, Isaac. Hey, bro, Newcastle are going to have a field day. Newcastle is going to have it. And I'm worried because, again, the biggest kind of factor for me when it's coming up against opponents for Manchester United is the physical part of the game. The physicality is what I'm worried about. Can they battle in duels, ground duels, aerial duels? Can they retain possession? Newcastle are a very fit team that can press, they can run, get up and down the pitch. United can't compete with that. It's scary, guys. It's scary, I'm not going to lie. But listen, man, let's get into yesterday's game. Let's get into yesterday's game because I'm sure a lot of you lot got your thoughts. I'm not going to start with Rasmus Højlund. I'm actually going to start with this. I'm actually going to start with this guy here. Because somebody said to me, I was being harsh for criticizing Bruno for getting sent off. Am I harsh for criticizing Bruno for getting sent off, guys? Because both times, it's pointless. It's yellow cards that can be avoided. Like, when the ref gave Lenny Yoro a yellow 3 minutes into the game, I knew this ref was trigger happy. So don't give the ref a reason to book you. Whether it's complaining, whether it's a poor challenge. Like that second yellow, that's a poor follow through from Bruno Fernandez. But for me, you lead by example as a captain. You have to lead by example as a captain. And if you can't do that, you should not be a captain. I don't care. Getting sent off once every 3 seasons, cool. Every 2 seasons, cool. But to get sent off 3 times in the space of 4 months, I'm questioning your leadership. I'm questioning your temperament on the pitch. And by the way, imagine I'm questioning your temperament based on red cards. But what about the temperament in possession? Because that is another question mark. That is another question mark. I remember I said this on UV, like, I think it was the Erik ten Hag's first season. Erik ten Hag's first season, I said, if Qatar came in, and this was at the time when Manchester United were looking to sell, so it was between Ratcliffe and Qatar, and I said, whoever comes in, Bruno needs to alter his game. He needs to change it. He needs to be more responsible. Otherwise, he might be the first person to get shipped out. That never happened. He ended up getting his little bumped up contract. But I actually think everything that was wrong with his red card yesterday is a reflection of Bruno Fernandez as a player at Manchester United. Poor temperament, poor ability to read the game, lack of control, lack of leadership. Like I said, you can be a leader in the dressing room, right? That is behind closed doors. But on the pitch, when you stand man to man, 11 of you guys on the pitch, you need to be a leader because you are essentially commanding the battlefield after the manager. As the captain, you are commanding the battlefield. If I'm on a battlefield and my commander is not looking that inspirational, I'm scared. I'll be scared. I'll be nervous. And I'm referencing war because I feel like United are going to war every single game. It's just a very bad one. Just a very bad one. Bruno is not captain. He does everyone's job but his. I don't see any players wanting to play with him. Instead, he expects players to play for him. He's selfish, has no discipline. I think that's a bit harsh. A lot of you guys are saying he's moving mad. He's moving mad. Lead by example, 100%. I totally agree. Bro, the average United player gets 3 red cards in their career. He has 3 in 4 months. I think Ryan Giggs has never had a red card in his career at Manchester United, which is, when you think about that, that's crazy. That's mental. But I'm very underwhelmed. You know what, actually? You know what? Bruno Fernandez. Okay, this is a question to you guys. Do you think Bruno Fernandez is as big as of an issue as collectively the rest of the players at United are? Because I think Bruno Fernandez is a good player. but I cannot stand what he does in a Manchester United shirt. I can't deal with it. I can't handle it. I can't handle it. Hey, Mina, sometimes Bruno blames other players for the mistake he makes. I see he gets angry a lot. I see that he gets angry and agitated a lot with players. But for me, one thing that stands out for me a lot for Bruno, and he is a good player, but he's very rash in his decision making. Like, I don't know if you guys realize when United, just watch United when watch Bruno, when Manchester United are losing. Watch Bruno when Man United are losing. He is spamming crosses. He is spamming shots from outside of the box. Yesterday there was a particular passage of play, guys, and I wish I could screenshot it, but I couldn't because I was watching it on Prime, and Prime doesn't allow you to screenshot stuff. But he had the ball about in the center circle area. It was more towards like Dallow's side of the pitch in United's half. He's got Dallo next to him. He's got Kobe next to him. He's got Ugarte next to him. He could go short for all of them. Instead, he plays a long ball first time, switching it to Ahmad. Ahmad's got 3 players on him, and it's actually an under hit pass, so it actually gets dispossessed. And that, for me, is the kind of decision-making that stands out for Bruno Fernandez. It's always the bad decision-making that stands out. And like I said, the red card thing, that is a whole nother conversation because maybe I'm being harsh. I don't know. Let me know if you guys think I'm being harsh. But I don't think your captain should be getting sent off as often as Bruno is this season. He shouldn't be. And I don't know. Can someone confirm to me? Is he only going to miss 1 game because it was 2 yellows? Or is he going to miss 3 games? Because if he's missing 3 games, that means he will miss Anfield. But if he misses 1 game, it means he's only missing Newcastle. So if you guys know how many games he's going to miss, let me know. 1 game, yeah, I thought so. Yeah, I thought so. Because people are saying he's going to miss Anfield, and I don't think he would. I don't think that would be the case. I'm really just disappointed. Like yesterday, I was just disappointed. I'm not gonna lie, guys. When Bruno got sent off, it was just disappointment. After that, I felt like United played slightly better. Didn't Bruno miss Anfield last season? He did miss it. Keane has been sent off twice in a season too. Stop making it a big deal. Bruno Fernandez couldn't lace 1 boot of Roy Keane. So there's exceptions to the situation, my friend. Thank you for your comment, but there is exceptions to the situation because Roy Keane and Bruno Fernandez, I know who I'm having as a captain. Any day of the week. Any day of the week, I'm taking Roy Keane. I'm taking half of Roy Keane and a whole Bruno Fernandez. Let me see what else you guys are saying. He's one of the main issues. He also doesn't fit the system. His decisions lead to counters. Then he runs hard to commit a foul, then moans, not captain mate. Like, you know what's funny? People, for the Wolves goal yesterday, the second goal in particular, Garnacho got dispossessed, right? And people were hammering onto Garnacho for that. But I've seen so many players do that. And this, again, goes further back to the point that Manchester United are a weak team. Like, from a physicality perspective, Manchester United are so weak. It's ridiculous. Do the players watch these shows? I doubt it, my friend. I doubt it. Let's talk about this guy, though. Let's talk about this guy here. Firstly, yeah, let me be real, guys. He should not have been playing yesterday. He literally beat up a security guard for Ipswich and snatched his glasses off. He should have been banned. But I just saw him run circles around Manchester. You know what, yeah? Watching players like him, watching players like Morgan Rogers, Joel Linton, players that can... I haven't seen a player in Man United's midfield able to dribble and glide and be strong since Paul Pogba. Let's be honest. Since Paul Pogba, there has been no other player that can do what other players do in comparison to what United have now in the squad. I watched Cunha, skip through 4 players. 4 players. And listen, we're going to talk about the free kick. We're going to talk about the free kick, yeah? Because I didn't even know there was a name for those kind of free kicks, guys. But the fact that United have conceded twice from that in a week, now I know what they're called. I never used to know what those were called, but I've just seen United concede from a corner twice in the space of a week. Mina, please stop. We don't need bottom three players. This is my problem, right? This is the problem that I have. Why do we look down on teams in? Firstly, Wolves are not that far from United in the table. We are closer to Wolves than we probably are to like Chelsea. Yeah. Number one. Number two, why do we think that to sign players, United need to sign players from big clubs? You can look at teams that get relegated, yeah, and they have players that can play for top teams. This idea of United turning up their noses at a team because they're in the bottom half of the table. My friend, we are in the bottom half of the table. We're in 14th place, guys. We are 8 points off of relegation, and I think it's like 11 or 12 off of like the top. We are on 22 points. I don't even know how many points United are going to finish with. The fact that I'm saying let's just get to 45. Let's try and get 23 points out of the next 19, 20 games. Do you know how bad that is? I was speaking to my friend yesterday, and my friend's an Arsenal fan. And my friend was saying to me, do you know, my friend was like, I can't believe what United have become. United fans are saying, oh, let's just get 45 points. But I'm like, we have been so bad. So I don't think we're not in no position to turn our noses up at teams or players in lower half of the table, because some players are actually better than what Manchester United have. It just also goes back to recruitment as well. That's another point. It goes back to Man United's recruitment. Let me see what else you lot are saying. I swear United are giving players auditions for their next big move. Solanke last season, Probsomenia and Cunha this season. Oh, don't even remind me. Imagine stocking up on Cunha, Kirkes, Dibbling to add to our own mid-table players. It isn't only ability, it's also about mentality. That's true. That is valid. That is valid. Palestri and McTominay could take on players and we sold them. I don't remember McTominay taking on players. I don't remember that. Thanks to Erik ten Hag signings, we're now in a better place. You know, I said this. Everybody's looking at Erik ten Hag as the kind of biggest, I don't want to say blame, but the factor of the squad that's been assembled over the last couple seasons, yeah? But I don't think people are really deep in Ineos' role in this. I genuinely don't think we are paying attention enough to what Ineos have played or the role that Ineos have played in this, because the way that I see it is, I don't care what your situation is in terms of, you know, I understand in the summer. Let me clarify. I understand Ineos were interviewing managers for the role, but I cannot look past the fact that you didn't want to keep a manager, but you did, and you gave him a bumped up contract, and you gave him more money in the summer to spend. With the intention, by the way, in The Athletic, they reported that when Ineos gave the new contract or the bumped up contract to Erik ten Hag, they were already planning his exit strategy, what their exit strategy would be once they choose to move on from him. So they already had the idea of getting rid of him. It was just a matter of when. For me, that is equally as bad as the squad that's been assembled by Manchester United over the last couple seasons. Like, I'm being genuinely serious. Erik ten Hag is to blame, but Ineos are not fault-free from all of this. Please, let's be honest. They are not fault-free from all of this. We can sit here and talk about the price increases of tickets. We can talk about all of this cost-cutting kind of scenarios that they're engaging with right now is under the impression of trying to be more in line with PSR. United would be in line with PSR if Ineos were to inject cash into the team. Simple as that. Big up to Thriller72 with the super chat. Thank you so much for the super chat. Says, oh my gosh, this is how I know I can stay committed to a wife. This stuff is testing me. I'm at a point of laughing to avoid crying. Big up Minna. Big up Thriller. Listen, yesterday, my nephew, yeah, it was his birthday. I didn't go to his birthday. I went to the dinner, but I didn't go to his birthday event because I stayed to watch Wolves versus Manchester United. Let that be a lesson to all of you guys. When you got commitments, just go. Just go. Just don't stress about United. Just go and watch and do what you have to do. Just go and do what you have to do. Let's talk about this here, man. Let's talk about this moment right here in the game. Teams have figured United out, you know that. Teams have figured out Manchester United from set pieces. By the way, I say this before every game. I tweet it before every game. Before the game, I said I've seen the script before. United to concede from a set piece or a cutback. We actually conceded both. But from set pieces in particular, corners specifically, I really feel like opponents have Manchester United figured out. Why are we still defending with a zonal strategy? I wish I had another picture of this moment. Here it is. Here it is, guys. Look at this, yeah? Look at United's players. In comparison, look how many United players are not marking a player in comparison to how many Wolves players are free. Do you know what Wolves did? They put one player in front of Onana. They put one player behind Onana. Just be there and just stand there. Just stand there. That will bother Onana enough, and he will struggle with it. Man United players, this zonal strategy that United are doing from set pieces, it's not working. It's not been working, by the way. It's not been working. And I don't know why the coaching staff are persisting with it. Because United concede a goal. Have we conceded from a set piece pretty much every game, guys? Because I feel like we have. I feel like we've conceded from a set piece in every single game so far. Aside from the fact that United got a bunch of short players, or not even short players, you know what? Deceptively short. Because United have players that are tall, but they're short in the air, if that makes sense. They can't win aerial duels. You've got Lisandro Martinez, who we're going to have a conversation about Lisandro Martinez. We're going to have a conversation about him. You got probably the best at aerial duels in the team yesterday is Harry Maguire. You got one of our best set-piece defenders and attackers in Casemiro that finally played yesterday. You've got Diogo Dalot, bro can't jump. Diogo Dalot can't jump. Mazraoui's not that great in the air when it comes to coming up against other players. There are problems in Manchester United's team from set pieces in particular. It's multiple problems. We could talk about the zonal marking strategy, but we can also talk about the fact that teams have figured Manchester United's goalkeepers out. Because there's no way two different players score from a corner against two different goalkeepers. That means clearly opponents have figured out a problem, a flaw that they can capitalize on when it comes to Manchester United's set piece defending. That and the fact that Manchester United are poor from set pieces. Now, I like Onana. I think he's all right. I said, I was praising Onana over the last couple months for his comeback from Manchester United last season to this season. Onana's not it though, guys. Like, I like Onana. Like I said, I like Onana. Just like I like Bruno, by the way. But I like Onana. I think he's an okay goalkeeper. He's not it. Man United. Onana is lucky that Manchester United have a lot of problems. Because if United didn't have a lot of problems, he would be a problem on the list. But because there's a lot more pressing issues, I think, for United to deal with right now, left wing back, we can talk about the 10, we can talk about the striker. We kind of overlook the goalkeeper spot for now. But it's definitely, for me, a problem that I'm aware of. And a problem that United need to address. United will have to address it. Big up to Mohammed, says, Min, I love your content, soon to blow up. Appreciate it, Mohammed. Thank you so much. Let me see what else you guys are saying. Let me know your thoughts, by the way, about Onana. Let me know your thoughts about Onana. Okay, goalkeepers will not win you titles, need to be elite level. Listen, look at the goalkeepers United had historically when they were winning. Look at, like, when we talk about the best goalkeepers in the Premier League history, we're talking about Man United goalkeepers. We're talking about the Schmeichels. We're talking about the Van der Sars. Of course, we can mention Peter Cech, etc. But that is proof to me that Manchester United, at their best, you can have a great crop of players, but you need to have a great goalkeeper. And that's not just Man United, by the way. I think that's applicable to everyone. I watched Courtois bail out Real Madrid multiple times during Champions League last season. I've seen him do it this season. Elite goalkeepers win you games. Great goalkeepers win you games. And there are situations that Onana has won points for United, but I wouldn't say that he's won United 3 points. Most of the time, it's a draw that he helped us hold on to. And yes, I know from last season to this season, there's definitely been an improvement on his level. But this goalkeeper situation is dire, guys, at United. And like I said, Onana is lucky that Manchester United have bigger problems. Like, word to Robbie, we got bigger fish to fry. So nobody's really looking at the goalkeeper situation. We got over 100 people in here and less than 50 likes, guys. Come on. You know the rules, man. You come in, you wipe your feet, you say hi to everyone in the chat, and you hit the like button. Please do hit the like button, as it does help with the algorithm. If you want to join the membership club, you can. It's the pinned comment in the chat. You get your badges, you get your emojis, you get your custom member content. Of course, you get to support the growth of the channel. They have a growing channel. If you want to support the channel in alternative ways, you can by liking, by subscribing, but also by sending in super chats with your comments, with your questions, with your thoughts, or to show some love. You know, we set a goal on the stream every single day, and it helps to reach that goal. Robert says, investing so much energy into such a disappointed team, you know, that is the worst thing. That is the worst thing. Look at this image. 3 Wolves next to the goalkeeper had no coverage. What were the defenders thinking? This is the thing, is that they allowed... Wolves had a plan, by the way. Wolves had a plan at set pieces. It was to put 2 players on the goalkeeper. Nobody is countering that. Nobody is countering that. Instead, United are getting in their little zonal strategy. I don't know if you lot realize, but what they do from set pieces in particular is they put like a row of players like this, and then they put a row of players like this. So it's like a staggered lines, basically, which is how they kind of defend set pieces. But one thing I've noticed, and I feel like I've pointed it out here in all of my match reviews after a game, is always, whenever I do 5 things we learned, there's always a comment about set pieces. Because despite the fact that United are defending set pieces like this, they're still conceding from it. And for me, that just shows that it doesn't work. I wouldn't mind, by the way, if United were to alternate between man-to-man, zonal, etc. But it's the fact that they're persisting with man-to-man zonal marking, from set pieces. And it's not just Wolves that do this in terms of putting a player or 2 around the goalkeeper. Onana is one of those goalkeepers, I feel like, all you need to do is, like, it's easy to get into his head. You just have to bother him, be around him and bother him. And that is enough, I think, to put him off. That is enough to put him off. Last season, I don't know if you guys remember. Just thinking about it makes me laugh. Do you guys remember when Onana punched a Wolves player, first game of the season last year? His debut for Man United, Premier League. United won Wolves, beat Wolves 1-0, I think. Yeah, we won 1-0. I can't remember who scored, but we won 1-0. First game for Onana as a Man United player. Do you guys remember? It was like 80-something minute, and it was a set piece, and he comes out and he punched a player in the head. Do you guys remember that? Because I'm sure I'm not making that up. That is my point of, if opponents just put players around Onana, it disrupts him. And he does something wild. I was laughing. That was a Stonewall penalty. Yeah. I don't know how they didn't get a pen for that. I don't know how they did not get a pen for that. But when I think about that, and then now I think about like how United are conceding from set pieces under Onana, it just shows for me the only time I feel comfortable with Onana coming out to claim the ball is maybe from like crosses. From crosses. That's when I feel okay with his claiming. Whenever, I'm going to be 100% honest, when it's a corner and Onana comes off his line, I'm holding my breath. I'm holding my breath because I'm like, oh my God, what is going to happen. But luckily for Onana, I genuinely feel like United have bigger problems right now, to a point where the goalkeeper situation isn't the biggest problem for them, because they've got other positions. I mean, it's not a stream, guys, if we don't talk about Marcus Rashford. It's not a stream if we do not talk about Manchester United and Marcus Rashford. This is just this Rashford situation, man, is annoying me. This Rashford situation, is annoying me, because United can't score. Rashford is United's. It's funny, I didn't even know this. How is he United's top goal scorer in the Premier League? With 4. How can you be our top goal scorer and you've got 4 goals? If we sell Rashford and Garnacho, we can easily buy 4 to 5 with that money, since they are pure profit. How much will we sell in Rashford and Garnacho for? That's my first question. My second question is, what's the likelihood United are going to reinvest all of that into buying players? Because selling players are not just to buy players. Selling players is also for profitability for the club. If they're losing money in other situations, the cost of sales, etc., is not balancing out. 40 million Garnacho, 40 million Rashford, and 45 mil for Garnacho, 50-60 each. Rashford 40, Garnacho 50-60. Well, I saw a report that was saying Atletico Madrid wanted Garnacho for 60 million, but it just sounds too good to be true, guys. It sounds too good to be true. Now, Ruben Amorim was asked about Rashford yesterday, before the game, after the game. Both times he was asked about Marcus Rashford. And he basically said, if he's not in the squad, that should make up your mind for you guys. I.e., everyone's trying to jump through hoops right now, figuring out, why is Rashford not in the squad? Is he not playing well? Is he being exiled from the team? Is he being pushed out? Blah, blah, blah. Amorim just said, you players get into the squad based on, training, etc. If he's not in the squad, that makes up your mind for you. And I think Amorim doesn't want to hear these questions anymore, because I can imagine, every game, going into every game, you're asked the same questions about, the same player. Is this his 4th game that he's been out of the matchday squad, guys? Is this the 4th? It was City. It was Bournemouth. Yeah, no, it's 3rd. It was his 3rd game out of the squad. I mean, he hasn't started, I think, since Everton. I think it was since Everton he hasn't started in the Premier League for United. I think it's probably safe to say that Rashford is leaving. But you know what I don't understand, and I don't know what you guys think. What if you want to sell someone, why would you not play them to try and drive up their price? And people, by the way, keep comparing Man United's situation. People keep comparing Man United's situation to Chelsea. Chelsea, when they were taken over by Todd Boehly, was completely different than Man United. Firstly, that was a complete takeover. So they were able to inject billions into the team. But also, they were able to sell their deadweight. United will not... I think United will struggle to sell their deadweight. United will absolutely struggle. Chelsea were able to sell Mendy, Ziyech, Koulibaly, or to Saudi or to Turkish league. Kai Havertz, Mason Mount for 60 million, Conor Gallagher. All these players, they were able to sell for very good prices. United, I don't think, will be capable of doing that, unfortunately. I don't think that. Rashford isn't good at all. If we play him, his value would actually decrease. That's a bit harsh. When he plays, he does nothing. His stock goes down. You lot are saying basically playing him won't drive his price up. It'll drive his price even lower. I don't know. Dude, let me ask you guys this. do any of you lot watch United right now struggling to create, struggling to score, and do you lot think, oh, what if Rashford was playing? Because United you look to the bench in a game. For example, yesterday's game, you look to the bench and you look at the players that can provide some impact off the bench in the attacking positions. And it's really just Joshua Zirkzee and Garnacho. There's not really anyone else for United to bring on. Bruno got sent off. Not really anyone else that you could... Well, it's not a priority position, I think, to fill when you get sent off. If it was a defender, that's a different story. But outside of Joshua Zirkzee and Alejandro Garnacho, there's not really much more attacking impact off the bench. And I think that's what makes me more frustrated with Marcus Rashford about this. Like, I'm just like, bro, you see how dead we are, and you did an interview saying you want to leave. Come on, man. Come on. But I do think United, I think we've seen the last of Marcus Rashford in a United shirt, in my opinion. I genuinely do think we've seen the last of him. Let's talk about Højlund, man. Talking about strikers, we might as well talk about Rasmus Højlund. A, what did you guys make of his performance yesterday? B, have any of you guys that said that United don't need a striker, have you changed your mind yet? Have you changed your mind yet? Are we not turning up our nose at Victor Osimhen? Sorry, let me say his name properly. At another striker. Because I've seen the conversation about Højlund, and it's always a conversation of service, right? But the little hissy fit he had in this little moment here, it pissed me off a little bit. It pissed me off a little bit. One thing that I noticed about Højlund, actually, let's not actually focus on this moment. Let's just talk about Højlund kind of all around kind of thing. We can talk about potentially service, but even his hold-up play is poor. His hold-up play is not that great. He can't link the play. He makes really bad, for a striker, Højlund makes really bad selective runs. Like, a lot of his runs, whether it's in transition, whether it's the darting run into the box, you know, when the ball is on the wide channels, he makes the wrong run. I don't know how you can make the wrong run every single time. On top of that, duels, whether it's ground duels, whether it's aerial duels, whatever kind of a duel it is, he does not succeed. I watched him against Archie Gray. Archie Gray, guys, didn't even cause any problems for him. Watched him the week after that, a couple of days after that. Again, same thing. Again, this week. Like, I do not put blame on Højlund per se, because you bring in a young player and you are trying to develop him, have the tools around to develop him. But I'm equally saying that you don't buy a player. By the way, guys, it's 85 million euros that United have spent on him. It's 75 million plus 10 million in add-ons. Atalanta originally, I think, valued him at 45 million. I'm seeing a little conspiracy theory about the fact that they valued him at 45 million, and then he joined a new agency, which was the same agency as the manager at the time, and suddenly United are playing 80 million. Whatever. I'm not going to give into the conspiracy theory. But what I'm going to give into is the fact that Man United brought a young player to develop, but did not have the assets around to develop him. And now fans are getting frustrated, and rightfully so, because it's your second season, and you're not really seeing many glimpses of development over the last 12 or so months. You're not really seeing it. I don't know how we can look at, by the way, striker targets and turn our noses up at them. Like, generally speaking, guys, how can we look at striker targets and turn our noses up at them and say, oh, we got Højlund or we got Zirkzee? I don't think Zirkzee and Højlund, I don't think either of them should be starting for Manchester United. And that's my harsh truth. That is my harsh truth. And I like both players. I like Zirkzee. I like Højlund. And by the way, me pointing out what I identify wrong in Højlund's game, that's not me drawing him out or player FC. It's just me identifying things that are not working. So please don't accuse me of picking on a player. I like them, but I don't think they're good enough to be starters. But then I can say there's a lot of players at United that are not good enough to start. So I can't single Højlund out individually. United brought him in as a young talent, a young prodigy. They already set the expectations high when they paid that price for him, but they also failed him when they didn't put the assets around him to develop him. You brought him in with no striker to learn from. So he was leading the front line in his debut year for Manchester United. He had, I think it was Anthony Martial in that season, but he wasn't really playing. No, did he have Anthony? He didn't. Did he have Anthony Martial? Yes, he did. Did he? I'm trying to remember when. Yeah, he did. He did have Anthony Martial that season, but he didn't play much. Let me see what you guys are saying in the chat. The guy who sold us Højlund at Atlanta is the same one who sold us Maguire at Leicester. I did not know that. I did not know that. This is what you get when you sign a kid to lead the line when you want to complete for things. I don't blame Rasmus. Look at Haaland, who's light years ahead of Rasmus, and he looks lost. There's a fundamental lack of confidence in this team. The faith in Amorim's system has dissipated. Let me see what else you guys are saying. Who cares about strikers when the players who are supposed to serve them chances aren't good enough? Buying a striker now is like building your house from the roof down. We complain about the service to strikers, right? But are the players, like, I agree, by the way, because I pointed out at the beginning about, decisions that Bruno might make, decisions that Ahmad might make. And I do also think that United spam, I don't know what it is about spamming balls into the box when we have one striker up front and no one else in the box. A lot of the time when United are putting crosses in the box, I don't know if you guys realize, a lot of the time when they're putting balls into the box, it is just the striker in the box, no one else in the box. And the opponent tends to have 4 or 5 players in the box. It's pointless. It's totally a waste of time. Mina, luckily Xerxes has a market. Serie A teams really want him, so we can dash him there in January. Do you really think United? Let me bring up Xerxes here. I thought I had a picture of him somewhere here. Do you guys really think United are going to sell Xerxes in January? If United do sell Xerxes in January, by the way, that might go down as the worst transfer. Genuinely speaking, if United sell Joshua Xerxes, that is the worst transfer that United have done in a long time. Because you're telling me you're already cutting ties 3-4 months, 5 months after bringing a player in. I told you about my thoughts of Joshua Xerxes, guys. KG started a petition to sign Xerxes in January. I told him to leave Joshua Xerxes alone, and this is what he's doing. I told you a lot of my thoughts about Joshua Xerxes. I'll say it again. He's a luxury player. He's a luxury player that is a very technical player. Let's not kid that. But he's also a player that is the cherry on the cake for a developed team. When you have formed the team, formed the squad, he's the final piece of the puzzle that you bring in to link up the play, link up the front line to the back line, provide you an alternative option off the bench. He has runners in behind, etc., etc. Luxury player. Luxury player. That's my thoughts of Joshua Xerxes. I like Joshua Xerxes, but equally with, what I see with Højlund, I can't overlook the fact that he gets bullied in the air. He gets bullied. Like, I don't see Joshua Xerxes, winning aerial duels. Let me just look yesterday to see what his stats were, because he didn't play much. He didn't play for that long. When did he come on? Joshua Xerxes came on. He had about 11 minutes under his belt. Even then, 0%. He only had one aerial duel, which he lost. The same flaws that I see in Højlund, I see those same flaws sometimes in Joshua Xerxes. And we could talk about mobility, we could talk about speed, etc. But you don't have to be a quick player if you're good with the ball at your feet. And I don't know what happens, because sometimes, guys, I'm not joking, I just feel like something rubs off on all the players where suddenly the ball is bouncing off of everybody's shins. And we see it quite often. For someone his size, he's very weak. He is. For someone quite tall and quite big, he is. Let's be honest, a decent striker gets goals on a good team. Havertz is a perfect example, and we aren't a good team. It's not that deep. I think Serie A is slower than the Premier League. It is. The Italian league is, I thought that was common knowledge. The Italian league is much slower than the Premier League. I don't know if you guys seen these reports. I'm not sure if you guys have seen these reports. Reportedly, Manchester United and Manchester City are interested in Dani Olmo, who could leave Barcelona for free. Barcelona is a mess, yeah. Them man, they are financially, they are a mess, right? But just for some context, they have until the 31st of December to register Dani Olmo. Otherwise, he can leave for free. What are we saying, guys? What are we saying? Interest or no interest? Manchester United, amongst Manchester City and obviously other teams, are interested in him. This is, by the way, like the third time today, I think, I've seen talks about Dani Olmo, but I need to double check. I don't think it's going to happen, by the way, because I don't want to be the bearer of bad news, guys. I don't think United are signing anyone in the January window. I don't think I hate to be the party pooper, the person that is the downer on everybody's mood, but a big part of me thinks that United are not signing anybody in the January transfer window. And they are going to use the excuse of PSR, FFP, all of that stuff as a reason as to why they are not going to sign anyone. They have to. Of course, we have to. But we need to, like, I don't want us to get our hopes up and then at the end of January be disappointed. I do not want us to get our hopes up. Because, guys, when have United signed someone in January? When have they signed? When was it? The last time we brought someone in January was Bruno Fernandez. Since then, Mina shows up to parties and turns the music down, party pooper. I'm sorry. I'm trying to, what's the word? Manage expectations. I'm trying to manage expectations and try to be realistic. It's going to be a sell to buy. I could imagine that. But even then, I don't think it's going to be a prolific player that they bring in. I don't think it's going to be a prolific player that they bring in. Even if United was to sell Marcus Rashford for 80, 90 million, whatever. Mina, you're still on Glazers mode with January window. Why am I in Glazers mode? Why am I in Glazers mode? Because I've seen Jim Ratcliffe come out and talk about Man United's PSR position. How does that make me be in Glazers mode? The Glazers have still got their fingerprints on the team, FYI. They're still very much here. PSR perspective. I think PSR also is an excuse for Manchester United right now. If I'm being honest, I understand PSR. I understand the concept of it, the reality of it, etc. But there's ways around it that United are not utilizing. Revenue is a big problem as well because United is, revenue is a problem because United is not generating as much revenue because of being out of Champions League, etc., etc. The best way that United can bring in revenue, last minute kind of thing, would be new sponsorship deals. New sponsorship deals would be, I think, the only way for United to bring in some sort of revenue at the club right now. Let me see what you guys are saying in the chat. These are the same people who failed to buy a left back for a whole year, whilst Malacia and Shaw are made of Weetabix. Not Weetabix. Not Weetabix. Damn, he's saying, oh man. Have any of you guys ever eaten Weetabix without milk? Like just raw, like a biscuit? It's not nice. Because we haven't seen a January window with Ineos yet, and we can spend in January. Look at the Swiss Ramble thread about it. Sir Jim Ratcliffe ain't waiting. I did read the Swiss Ramble thread about Manchester United's PSR position, about what they can do in January. The question is, because Swiss Ramble outlined multiple solutions, one of them being what Chelsea do about giving new contracts to spread the amortization costs and then sell those players. Ineos ain't going to do that stuff. Ineos are not going to do that stuff. What has Jim Ratcliffe, I don't know if you lot watch his interviews. When Jim Ratcliffe does interviews and they talk about money, he talks about needing to make Man United profitable. That's what he talks about. He talks about the need for profitability before United go out and spend miraculously in windows. He also talks about Man United signing, the best in, the best upcoming talents. I could see United going down a pathway where they start signing a lot more young academy talents to bring them to Manchester United. And I'm not even being funny. We've already seen it happen with Chido Obi Martin, Samuel Lasal. We've seen it with Sekou Kone, and now this new kid, Diogo, whatever his name is, that we're bringing in, the new left-back kid. Let me see what else you guys are saying in the chat. I'm not even joking. I want relegation. Don't say that, guys. Do not say. I've seen people joking about relegation. I will support United even if they get relegated. But don't say I want relegation. If we get relegated, all these supposed big players have to leave and we can start over completely. You don't think about the what's the called, the repercussions of relegation, because say you get relegated to Championship. Yeah? Say United get relegated to Championship and then they come back up. Do you think just because you've come back up now to the Premier League, you can now attract players again? No, because you're not even in European football. So you got to wait a couple of more years before you can buy players of that level per se. I just don't. People saying that they want relegation is jokes. It is kind of, if we get relegated, we could end up like Middlesbrough. Listen, Middlesbrough, Portsmouth, Reading, QPR, Bolton. There's so many teams that have gone down and then just continue to go down. Like they end up in League One, or they end up in League Two most of the time. People saying that they want relegation is always like, to me, like, damn. For me, the ideal outcome of the season, if I tell you lot, promise that you won't hate me if I was to tell you lot what my ideal outcome for the season is. I want Manchester United to just finish the season. I want the season to be done, first and foremost. I just want the season to be over. I want Manchester United to play one game a week next year. I want one game a week. I want time on the training ground. I want Manchester United to start from scratch. This idea of starting from scratch, but still being in European competitions, that's not starting from scratch. That is not starting from scratch. Manchester United are, firstly, top 4 is out of the question right now. I've actually even said a European finish is out of the question. But I don't want to be too reactionary. United could finish 7th. They could, maybe. But that's a long way to go. That is a long way to go. I'm genuinely looking at this and thinking, firstly, just see the next 6 months out. And try not to humiliate us too much. Sell half the team. I know it's very unrealistic, by the way. This is not FC25. This is not Football Manager. You can't sell half your squad and buy half a new team. But there are some players that need to leave. There are some players that need to go. United need an influx of quality, of physicality, of technical. Like there's so many attributes that United lack that they need to address. So how can we address that and be in European football at the same time and be trying to implement a style of football and on top of all of that, be playing every 2 to 3 days? And everyone's going to say, what about revenue, Champions League revenue? Do you think Man United, based on right now, right? Do you think Man United are in a place to play Champions League football next season? Like, and this is a genuine question to you guys. Do you think Man United are in a position to play Champions League football next season? Because I don't think they are. I genuinely don't think that. And we can be like, oh, how the mighty have fallen. But guys, United been shit for the last 10 years. Like, we actually need to open our eyes and be like, the last 10 years has been pathetic. It's been pathetic. The last couple of years, even worse. It's been even worse. So we need to, I think, be grounded and take that risk of, you know what? Not 1 year of just playing 1 week every week, which means, guys, if United playing every weekend, Amorim has more time to prepare for games. Manchester United have more time on the training field. Players will have more time to recover after games, so the manager doesn't have to keep worrying about injuries. And talking about injuries, the first set of players that United should get rid of are the injury players. I don't know why United, why we have to be so, what's the word? We have to be, sentimental to, oh, you know, they're injured and we need to support them. Thank you for your service. goodbye. That's how Man United should be treating players that can't stay fit. And of course, I'm not going to name names, but you guys know who I'm talking about. You guys absolutely know who I'm talking about. We can't play in Europe next season. We can't even compete in the Prem. We haven't been Champions League quality for 5 years now, qualified from the group stage once in that time. I mean, the last time I remember United being entertaining in Champions League is flipping Ollie days. And even then, we lost to Barca. We got our asses handed to us after, what was it, quarterfinals against Barca. Forget 6 months. If we get decent results for the next 3 games, we will be success by the rate we are going. It's not even just about getting success, because results can't paint over cracks, right? But results would make this a lot more bearable. 100%. Like, if United are winning and it's not pretty, it would make this a bit more bearable. But I think that A, going on a run of games and picking up points is important. But B, I just don't know how United are going to get through this with the quality of players that they have. And that's why I genuinely think Ruben Amorim, has been saying from his first game, a storm is coming. He's been indirectly hinting at players not being able to do stuff. Because he knows best, right? From everything. He's the guy that sees them training session after training session, game after game. He definitely knows what he is working with, which is why I think he's trying to lower expectations for the season. I genuinely think he's trying to lower expectations because he's realizing, oh my God, this team, how have you spent 600 million and this is the caliber of players that you have? No, Minna, winning now just extends the cycle of madness. New manager bounces the reason the core of the team is still the same. That's valid. That is a very, very valid point. Minna, I don't think these players will survive if they finish 13th, 14th. Jim will have to sell majority of them. Where do you think United is going to finish, guys? Let's bring up the table. Hold on. Let me bring up the table before we look at the fixture list. Look at this, guys. I have to scroll down to find Manchester United. United 14th. I mean, I said this before the game. I said it's absolutely humiliating for United to be going into the new year and being in the bottom half of the table. Forget being this low, but being in the bottom half of the table, that's humiliating in itself, right? 22 points in 19 games. Look at this, guys. Look at this record here. Last 5 games. I guess the City game is the what's it called? The highlight of that moment. That's really bad, man. That is, guys, this is really bad. 12th to 15th, 8th to 12th. Yeah, I see United finishing 8th to 10th. And which is so bad because if I go back to my prediction video, guys, at the beginning of the season, I said United finished 3rd. Life is a humbler. Football is a humbler, guys. We won't finish anywhere near 8th to 9th. There would be wage cuts if we finish below 10th. Let there be. Let there be wage cuts. Let there be wage cuts. I'm pretty sure if there's wage cuts, guys, these men will still survive. Come on. Going from earning 200k to 100k a week, you'll be fine. You will be absolutely fine. Personally, I feel we will get relegated. Jim Ratcliffe will sack Amorim by March and we'll get an interim who will take us down. I can't believe people actually think United might get relegated. Let's look at the relegation battle. How the mighty have fallen. We're sitting here looking at the relegation battle. Look at the relegation battle. I can comfortably say Southampton's going down. I don't even have to question that. Southampton, I can say they're comfortably going down, right? Leicester, Ipswich, Wolves. Wallahi, we're not that far from relegation. Oh my God, I've just deeped it by looking at everybody else's points. By looking at everyone else's points, guys, I've just deeped the relegation situation. Oh man, top 4 is still open, man. Z, we need to focus on the half of the table that we're in. We need to focus. We're not going to get relegated, guys. Stop being reactionary. We are not getting relegated. I think coming into the season, I think I said Leicester, Southampton, and I think I said Nottingham Forest. That's how you know I don't know ball. But Southampton's going down. I think Ipswich will go down as well, and I think here Leicester City. It'll be between Leicester. I think Wolves is going to start to pick up form. I think Wolves are going to start to pick up form. I think Everton are going to start to drop off, and Crystal Palace are going to start to drop off. So Leicester, Crystal Palace, Everton will be in a relegation scrap. But this is dire. This is a very dire state. I didn't actually notice, by the way. I knew United were 14th, but I didn't understand. I didn't look that far, by the way, at the table to the below us to see what the points difference is. Everton got a game in hand. They got a game in hand. Oh my God. Let's look at United's upcoming games. Make sure you guys hit the like button if you haven't. If you want to join the membership club, you can. It's the pinned comment in the chat. You get your badges, you get your emojis, you get your custom member content, and of course, you get to support the growth of the channel. If you want to support the channel in alternative ways, you can by sending in super chats with your comments, with your questions, with your thoughts, or just to show some love. See United's upcoming fixture list. Damn. All right, let's look at it from. All right, cool. There you go. Football is a game of runs. That's true, Jordan. That's true. You just really need to get a run of games, but it's getting that first step. That is the difficult part. Is getting that first win, and then building off that and getting a second win. I said, I remember looking into like Forest, Bournemouth, City, etc. I said that Bournemouth and Forest would be the two harder games for United. Then I said that they would actually be more difficult than City, because I feel like with City, with a derby, players will be up for it. It's the Bournemouths and the Forests, etc., that players will just think, yeah, I could just turn up and do the bare minimum and win. But this is United's upcoming games. Cunha banned for 5 games. He should have been banned before the United game. Maybe we would have won. Mina says there's no way we get relegated. She wasn't around in 73, 74. Of course I wasn't around in 73, 74, bro. Of course I wasn't. I wasn't born then. I was born like 20 years later. But anyways, Manchester United's run of games, Newcastle at home, the last game of the calendar year. Then Anfield. The trip to Anfield is basically, I think, I'm looking at the trip to Anfield and I'm thinking, well, Liverpool are flying right now, both in the league and in the Champions League and under Slot. You got Mohamed Salah in form, Cody Gakpo picking up form. You got a backline of, Konate out, but Joe Gomez is all right. You got Van Dijk, you got Trent, you got Andy Robertson, who's a bit shaky sometimes. But you got Gravenberch, who's, I think, the best DM in the what's it called? I think Gravenberch is the best DM in the league. This Anfield game is going to be scary, guys. It's going to be absolutely scary. Didn't we get 0-0 versus Liverpool at Anfield a while ago? Last season, yeah? We parked the bus. If you don't remember, I don't know if you guys remember, but we did go to Anfield. We got a 0-0 result, and we put 11 men behind the ball, and we just watched that for 90 minutes. And that result did nothing for us. Like, we can be like, oh my God, Gravenberch better than Rodri, or you just excluded him because he's injured. Yeah, I'm talking about this season. What about Caicedo and Rice? I think Caicedo is good, but I think Gravenberch just edges it for me. We need David. Oh man. But look at this, guys. It's not even funny, yeah, because we go to Anfield and then we go to the Emirates. A week later. January is actually. Let's look at the games for January. Yeah, we got Liverpool away, Arsenal away, Southampton, Brighton, Rangers at home. So a run of 3 games at home that I really hope I really hope it's the games that I was gonna say United are playing at home, so they should be able to use that to their advantage. But playing home and playing away is right now no different for us. The Old Trafford is not the fortress that it was a couple of seasons ago. But yeah, we got a run of 3 games at home, and then we got Fulham away, bro. Oh my God. January is looking scary, guys. Yeah, let's call it what it is. We're playing Fulham away, who just picked up points against Chelsea. And by the way, even though they were losing for most of that game, they had Chelsea on the back foot the entire second half. Brighton, I'm not going to lie, I ain't watched a lot of Brighton in the last couple of weeks. I'm not going to lie. I haven't watched a lot of Brighton, so I need to keep an eye on them. Southampton, well, I can say, Southampton, they're bottom of the table. I saw Tyler Dibbling twist up Dallo at the beginning of the season. Anfield can be a surprise result if the players just can be proactive. They are use it as a springboard and just get some momentum. But that's the thing, though. And this is a question to you guys. I thought Man City would be the game after that to gain momentum, right? But it wasn't. And I don't want to look at Liverpool as that as well. By the way, Liverpool, I don't see them dropping points throughout the season. Throughout the rest of the season, I see them dropping like 7 points, 6 points. I don't see them. And it really frustrates me. It really frustrates me because we're talking about Slot coming in, and he by the way, Arne Slot inherited a great team. I would say a little fractured in terms of how Klopp was using them, but he just put his fingerprints on the team, and as the players are good. We should just give Liverpool the 3 points, stay on the bus. This is sad, man. This is really sad that this is how we feel about games. I don't know if you lot feel the same, but I feel sad. Man City have 1 win in 13. We played a poor team and got lucky. I think that is a factor of us beating City. I think that is the fact that City are in poor form. And that's why I'm not looking at Anfield as a game where we can just go and be up for it. We can't just go and be up for it. Because Liverpool and Man City are not the same this season. One team is flying, one team is dying. The fixtures in December are very compact. That's true but to be honest, look at this. United are playing Liverpool and Newcastle about 6 days apart. They're playing Liverpool and Arsenal. That's about a week apart. Then that's a 4 days apart, 3 days apart, 4 days apart, 3 days apart. January is not any easier, by the way, guys, than December. It's still not as congested, and December traditionally is always the busier months for football, for the Premier League in particular. But these are still congested fixtures. There's only about one game, which is the FA Cup, where there's a week between the games. All the other games, there's about 3 or 4 days apart, which means it's going to be another run of, I think, changing lineups under Ruben Amorim. Onana had his, I think it was on Prime. They were saying that Onana under Amorim has not played with the same backline in front of him. Mina, you worried we might see another 7-0 defeat? Because I could see floodgates open if Liverpool score 1. Listen, I watched the United versus Liverpool at Old Trafford, yeah? And that game, I felt like the floodgates were open. But they were just missing chances. I'll be honest. I am worried about Anfield. I am very worried about Anfield. And it's not because they've got the best player in the league in Mohamed Salah. But it's because they've got different contributing factors in their front line. They got Jota, they got Gakpo, they got Diaz, who didn't score since September and then just scored on a run of games. Like, they've got multiple factors in the team that can contribute to the front line. And Manchester United's backline, for me, is not a convincing backline yet because it's an ever-changing one. You got Maguire in there 1 minute, you got Johnny Evans in there 1 minute, you got De Ligt there 1 minute, you got Mazraoui as right centre-back sometimes, you got him as right wing. Like, it's just inconsistency. And it's not a fault on the manager because the manager has said that because of the run of games, it's difficult for players to recover after a game and then be ready for training and then be ready for another game. So he has to keep changing and trying to get everyone match fit and fit for the system. But I am worried. I do think that it will be a back 5 throughout the game. I do think it will be a back 5. It won't be a back 3 with the wing backs kind of being wide. I genuinely think you have to double up on Mohamed Salah. You need to double up on Mohamed Salah. By the way, when I watched, if you don't remember Liverpool versus United, Joshua Zirkzee started that game. Van Dijk could have sat down and had a picnic because nothing happened. And I think it's going to be another game. It doesn't matter who starts there. If it's Højlund or Zexi, I don't think that they are going to have much to do. Bruno is available for the Liverpool game, by the way, which is a disadvantage to us. Liverpool have a 29-6 aggregate score against us in the last 5 years. That's crazy. That is crazy. Is that real? 29-6. Let me look at Man United versus Liverpool Premier League results. I don't know why I'm doing this to myself, by the way. All right, let's go back. Okay, let's start from... Okay, most recently. 3-0, United lost. 2-2, we drew at the end of last season. I'm not going to count FA Cup because that's not the league. Then it was 0-0 last year at Anfield. 7-0, I remember that. 2-1, United won. I remember that. Erik ten Hag's first season. 4-0, 5-0, 4-2. 4-2. Okay, let's stop. Yeah, let's just stop. 5 defenders on the pitch and we still can't defend. The transfer window is going to be an interesting one, by the way. It's going to be an interesting one. Cunha has been... Yeah, okay, so Cunha has been banned. It just came up on my field. No, it just came up on my... Sorry, on my... Oh, I hate the guys. You know one thing I don't like, yeah? One thing I don't like, guys, is everybody referencing... Everyone's referencing Rangnick's open heart surgery. Everyone is referencing Rangnick's open heart surgery. And I just can't believe that people think United haven't actually done or attempted a rebuild. It's just a very poor one. It's just a very poor rebuild. But United have attempted a rebuild. I've seen Salah shirtless more times than we scored against Liverpool. Listen, that Liverpool game, that's a problem for next year, guys. That's next year. It's 2025. We're not there yet. That's a problem. Inshallah, God willing, we get there in full health. But that's a problem for 2025, man. We're not there yet. So I don't need to worry about it. I need to worry about Newcastle. We need to worry about Newcastle. We need to worry about Alexander Isak. We need to worry about Joel Linton. We need to worry about Bruno Guimaraes. We need to worry about who else? Anthony Gordon. There's a lot of men that we need to worry about in that team. We need to worry about a lot of people. So we can sit here and stress about Liverpool. We can really sit here and stress about Liverpool. But let's look at Newcastle on Monday. Tonali. How could I forget Tonali? Murphy. I seen Murphy run rings around United. It's scary. It's really, really, really scary. And Newcastle, I mentioned this. They are picking up form. 3 Premier League games, guys. 3 clean sheets. They've scored 11 goals, I think, in 3 Premier League games. And they've been, even when they lose, they are still able to score 1 or 2 goals. By the way, yesterday I watched the Newcastle game versus Villa, and they bullied Villa for most of the game. Alexander Isak, by the way, is the best striker in the Premier League right now. And no one can tell me otherwise. His all-round game, as well as his link-up play, his ability to dribble as a very slender, tall player, his ability to dribble, and then obviously his goal-striking ability, his eye for goal, everything, all-roundedness as a number 9, Alexander Isak is the best striker in the Premier League right now. The outcome on Monday might be better than we think. I know we are missing Ugarte, but Amorim may figure it out. You know what? Missing Ugarte for me is something that I think we're not dwelling on enough. Because I also think that, again, is another big factor going into it. That's another big factor. Because Ugarte, for me, by the way, I was watching him yesterday. Yeah, first 25 minutes. He likes to. He's a true serviceman because he just likes to win the ball back and then just pass it to someone, and then win the ball back again, pass it to someone, win the ball. Seems like that's his cup of tea. You know, some people, they enjoy shooting and they enjoy scoring and they enjoy like assists, and he just likes to win the ball back. He goes to war. He's going to be a big miss, guys, because you're telling me it's possible that I might have to watch Christian Eriksen in midfield. It's a possibility that we might have to watch Christian Eriksen, who I like as a player, but I think he's past the point. I think he's past the point of being a player for Man United right now. I'm worried. I think missing Ugarte is going to be a big kind of worry. It's going to be a big worry. Big up to Riri with the super chat, says, bless up, Mina, and all the minions. Big up, man. I appreciate it. Speaking about winning the ball back, Bruno won 3 of his 12 duels against Wolves. My worry with Bruno, he's a flimsy guy. He's really weak, physical-wise. I saw him get barged a lot, like bullied off the ball. And that's just in the first 45 minutes. That is just in the first 45 minutes yesterday. And I don't know if you lot realize, but I feel like the players that United are linked to, in particular, in terms of midfielders, it looks like United just want like 2 destroyers that just eat up every blade of grass in the midfield. Because we're linked to Edison a lot from Atalanta. I can't lie, guys. Bring me Belieber from Brighton, man. I'm going to die on that hill. I have a question for you guys, though, before we wrap up the stream. Where do you see Kobbie Mainoo fitting in this team? Where do you see Kobbie Mainoo fitting in this system particularly? Because I think Ugarte's spot is guaranteed. I think his midfield spot is a guaranteed spot. He's starting there. The other position next to him, it has been Kobbie's for the most recent part. But I don't like Kobbie in the deeper role. I don't think should be a deeper player, but I don't think he should also be the most advanced player. There's like a middle point that I think, a grey area for him. Mainoo is a bench player, damn. If Amorim identifies it, then Kobbie in the 10. Mainoo doesn't suit a midfield 3. He suits a midfield 2. Sorry, he suits a midfield 3. Put Mainoo and Xerxes at 10. Move Ahmad back to right wing back. Xerxes in the 10 would be a sight for sore eyes. Not because he can't play it, but because he's so slow. I don't know. Kobbie needs time to develop. He's a teenager, and it's not fair on him to force him in. Yeah, definitely I could say the Kobbie that we saw last season is not the Kobbie that we're seeing right now. But I think injuries play into it, inconsistent run of games play into it, a different system plays into it. There's still, I think, parts of the game that we can see that he has in his locker, and we've been able to identify it. But I'm just curious to know where he kind of fits into Amorim's team, because I'm not going to lie, I'm watching this and I'm thinking, where does he fit in? Where does he fit in? We're actually finished. We need transfers in January. We need a left wing back, left side 10, a striker. Hoyland ain't good enough. I'm tired watching this guy always wrestling defenders. I don't think Mainoo is part of the plan. A lot of you guys saying he doesn't look like a midfielder for Amorim. I do see United going for another midfielder in the next window. But for me, it's just a matter of, firstly, can we even flipping afford it? But also, it makes me interested in terms of where Kobbie's future lies. Where does Kobbie's future lie? But listen, guys, be sure to hit the like button if you've just come through, man. Listen, this was a much needed, I think, therapy session. This was a much needed, just to sit here and just ramble and talk about all of the issues that United have right now. It is a much needed Friday therapy session. I'll be live tomorrow, inshallah, with the daily dose of Minna as well, if we've got anything to talk about. But we'll be live as well for a preview over the weekend for the Newcastle game. We'll have a video dropping as well after the Newcastle game. We'll have a special video as well dropping on the weekend. Is Nuruddin live? Let's go raid Nuruddin. Let's go and raid Nuruddin. Although it says he's going live at 4 o'clock and he's still not live. That's some Somali timing. All right, let's go and show some love to Nuruddin, guys. Let's go and show some love. But listen, guys, be sure to hit the like button. Be sure to subscribe as well. Big up to everyone. Big up to the mods. Big up to everyone in the chat. Big up to the members. Big up to everyone who sent in super chats as well. Much appreciated. I'll be back tomorrow. If there's no big news between now and tomorrow, I'll be live tomorrow, inshallah, God willing, man. I hope you guys have a wonderful Friday. Listen, guys, this is a Friday therapy session, man. I hope it doesn't have to become a norm. I really, really hope this does not have to become a norm. I hope you have a wonderful Friday, guys. I'm out. Peace. Make sure you show love to Nuruddin, guys. Peace.